see. Mood swings. Give it a few more seconds. All right, guys. So, if you ever been in a situation where you've been texting a girl, you're giving it your all, your best effort, and you feel like you're the only one putting in all the work, and she's not really reciprocating too much. She's giving you short answers. That's usually what happens when a man focuses on how he feels about her instead of reading her level of interest. Because you can't really win anybody's heart by projecting how much or how you feel about her. A woman doesn't care how much you like her or how good of a guy you are. She only cares how she feels about you. And so, if you're new here, my name is Mitchell. I'm a relationship coach, and in today's live video, I will be talking about why most men fail with women. They only care about themselves. Okay? Give me 1 second. I hope you guys can hear this. Testing. Okay. All right, so let's start with the first one, where stop chasing, start reading her level of interest. So one of the biggest mistakes that most men make today is chasing women based on how they feel about her. So how he feels about her, not how she feels about him. So basically, a guy would see a beautiful woman, feel like there's some sort of chemistry, and instantly assumes that the feeling is mutual between them two. But attraction really doesn't work that way. Her interest level is the true compass, because she eventually is going to be the one that's going to be the one that's choosing. She's going to be the one that makes that decision in the relationship, if there is going to be one. If there is going to be one. So her level of interest is a true compass, meaning, like I said, it must come from her, okay? Not from your desperation. So, because if you're the only one that's initiating, planning, or trying to make things happen, that's not how connections work, okay? It has to be reciprocated. It needs to be coming from her as well. Now, a man should always be brave enough and confident enough to assume that her level of interest is going to be there even before the approach, even before he gets to try to know her, because that's where confidence comes in. He's like, why wouldn't you like me? Because you're an amazing guy and you got a lot to show for. So, but also as a guy, you have to understand that when she isn't showing you a lot of level of interest, or level of interest is really low, you have to know when to back off and when to step away to allow her space. Now, the whole idea of dating and giving her space is to gauge her level of interest so that the man does not over pursue, and to see whether or not she is interested in getting to know you more. Now, a lot of other guys will tell you things such as like, well, you got to play certain games. It's like, well, it's not really game. It's learning to take a step back to see her level of interest. And then here's also another thing too. You want to stay away from women who tries to play too much game on you. These are what we call structured women. Women who are structured, meaning that they're not going to kiss you on like there's no such thing as kissing on a first date, or there's no sex on a first date or anything like that. At some level, I understand, but women who are too structured, like even if she feels a deep connection and she wants to kiss you, she's like, no, I can't do it because it's the first date. You want to avoid those type of women, because usually she's gonna be way more difficult moving on in the future. She's gonna be like, well, I have to have this, I have it like that. What are you, kitty cute? I am a relationship coach. I like the name though. I have a bunch of cats over here too. You might see them walking around later. But anyways, what was I saying? Gauging her level of interest is really important, okay? So, what's up, Naomi? So reading her level of interest, the whole idea of dating is to gauge how much she likes you, and so that you don't over pursue as a guy. And it's very, very easy. Like, hear me out. It's very, very easy to make a mistake of what we call over pursuing. And the thing is, if her interest level is high, meaning that it's on a scale 1 to 10, she's at a 6 or a 7, a little like somewhere between 6, 7, or maybe even a level 8, you can make more mistakes. You could get away with a few more mistakes. But if she's at like a 5, one mistake, you're out. Anything lower than that, she's not really gonna give you the time of day, or that too. So and here's the thing, okay? When a woman is genuinely curious or genuinely interested in you as a guy, she makes herself available. All you have to do is just walk through the door and not talk your way out of her liking you. Because a lot of guys do that. They over pursue, they over text, they say certain things that conveys that he does not feel like he deserves her. And the moment she senses that, especially like I said, if her interest level is kind of low, you're not gonna get a second chance. Hello. So when a woman likes you and she's genuinely interested and she wants to get to know you, she will respond to you a lot faster. She will participate in conversations, and I'll talk about that later. The phone is for setting dates, not to try to get to know each other. All right. So she doesn't really leave you guessing. She doesn't leave you guessing too much. And most men, they ignore a lot of the cues. From America, they ignore a lot of the cues because, like I said, they're blinded by how much he likes her. Okay? But if you think about this and you take a step back, what is a guy? What is a man? Okay? Now, this is not true for all men, but women are attracted to masculine energy. Most women are. Okay? Most women are attracted to masculine energy. And when a guy conveys and acts in a way with more masculine energy, she will naturally, if she's more on the feminine side, she will naturally be attracted to you. And so if you understand masculine energy comes from observation, not obsession. So instead of chasing her all the time, which, you know, if you continue chasing women who kind of keeps you confused all the time, you know, start flirting, start filtering most of her inconsistent efforts. If you are constantly looking at her actions, like, you can always judge a woman based off her level of interest and what she does. So if you're trying to set up dates with her and she's giving you iffy answers, like, oh, maybe, she's not giving you a definite time, like, hey, you know, I'd love to get to know you. And she's like, well, I might be busy this week. We could try next week. And so unless you set a definite date, the date is not happening. Definite date means that you have a time, you have a place, and that's when you're going to see her. Okay? Definite date. So think about it like this. Women vote with their feet. If she's with you, she's for you. So when you project your interests, you kill mystery. Women love a little bit of mystery. They need to wonder about you. They need to think about you to start feeling a little bit more, right? If you're always available, especially in the beginning of the step of like this whole courtship and dating phase, because there's different phases in relationships. And if you apply different things to other areas, like say, for example, if you're applying dating stuff to relationship stuff, an example is like, oh, a lot of guys talk about like, oh, I got to give her no contact. It's like, yes, that kind of works, but to some degree, when you apply no contact, depending on the situation, it's like, well, if you're trying to apply dating towards a relationship and you're saying, look, no contact, and you step away, you're basically conveying to her, I don't care about you. I don't care. and nothing's really gonna change. So obviously she's gonna want to take a step away from you and not be around you. So there's a difference, okay? But anyways, going back to remaining a little bit mysterious. When a man gets emotionally attached too fast and too quickly, especially in the beginning, okay, he begins projecting. He assumes that she feels the same level of type of interest as he does. So he starts texting more, oversharing, over-explaining, trying to make her see how good of a guy he is or how genuine he is. And this is where my coach Corey Wayne, all right, he talks about it all the time. He's like, look, a lot of guys feel like they have to do something in order to get a response from her. That is called an illusion of action. When you feel like you have to do something because she's not responding to you, she's not giving you the text back, you feel like you have to do a little bit more to get her attention. That is the opposite of what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is, if you send a text, she got your text. You wait. It's like a tennis. It's like a tennis game. You hit the ball over the net. You wait for her to come back and hit it back to you. And that's it. And then you're trying to gauge that level of interest. That's about it, okay? Don't try to overcomplicate things. So most guys, this is where they make the mistake of needing to do something in order to make it feel something. So now what most guys don't realize is that every time, like I said, every time he does that, he feels like this illusion of action. Oh, I need to do something. I need to do this. He's removing the mystery. And that mystery is what builds attraction. So by being too available, it kills attraction, right? What you're supposed to do is instead you want to take a step back and waiting for her to come to him. Men create the conditions. Woman, at the end, she's the one that makes the decision. So how do you create the conditions as a guy? Well, you set up dates. How? Well, by asking her out and reading her level of interest. And if she's interested in you, she will set a date. And if she's not, don't waste your time. Having more in your life. So that what also means is that you have to have other people in your life so that you don't feel like you're needy or clingy. Because if you only have, like, one is no choice, two is a dilemma, three is a choice. So for most guys, I always suggest, what's up, Tracy? Long time no see. So for most guys, I always suggest that you should at least be talking to multiple women. To at least one, you want to vet them properly to see you have options, and also to see which one you like most. Because if you only have one and that one doesn't work out, what's gonna happen? You're gonna feel like you're a piece of shit and you got to start all over again, right? So at least have three. Now, attraction for women thrives in space, the space in between. Yeah, no, it's been a long while. Attraction for women thrives in space, okay? It builds curiosity and this type of emotional roller coaster and not knowing everything about you. She needs time and space to think about you, to wonder about you, to build attraction, okay? So when you start projecting your feelings, so what most guys do, they start projecting their feelings onto her. Not only does it destroy any type of mystery, it also tells me that you're not really asking her enough questions. Because if you're doing it properly, especially if you trying to get to know her, you're out on a date, she should be doing 70 to 80% of the talking. So what does that mean? It means that you should be asking questions. What are some of her hobbies? What does she do for fun? Let her explain. You're not there to listen to her past relationships. You're not her emotional tampon, all right? What you're supposed to do is to make her feel good, about being around you. So you want to be playful, you want to be fun. You don't want to talk about serious topics. And if she does bring that up, you should always be like, well, transition it to something better so that she will feel good being around you. And whatever you make her feel around you, she's going to associate those feelings with being with you. And that is how you have a more successful date. by asking her questions. And you know what's gonna happen usually is after that date, she's gonna feel like, wow, I had a great time, because women love talking. Okay, they done the research of how much more they speak. They speak a lot more than men. And so if you're asking her a lot of questions, she's gonna feel like, wow, I got to know him, or at least he got to know me a lot. But I don't really know much about him because he's the one that's been asking me a lot of questions. And so that's the thing. When most guys, they ignore these type of cues, they eliminate a lot of the tension. They're not creating enough space by remaining a little bit mysterious. And so women don't fall for the man who tries the hardest. They fall for the man who makes them feel for them the most. Okay, give me 1 second. I need to close this door. Okay. So, and that feeling comes from curiosity. How do you build curiosity, right? By not having constant access to you and being totally available. And so your thing is, it's like, well, stop trying to convince her to like you. You don't need to convince her to like you. Let her wonder about you. If she truly is interested in you, she will move closer and closer at her own pace. So you want to give women freedom, 100% absolute freedom to pick and choose who she wants to be. Like I said, a lot of guys, they feel like they have to do something in order to get her attention. If she is a very attractive woman and she is talking, she's gonna have men all around her all the time. And within, let's just say 10, okay? Within those 10 guys, if you were that one guy that gave her a lot of space, you're playful, you're not too serious, you're having a good time, you're trying to set up dates, you're gauging her level of interest by asking her when she's free so that you could take her out. But all these other guys are trying to text her, trying to get to know her, and you remain mysterious. Where does that put you? She's like, well, this is guy that I'm talking to, and I don't know. I don't know why he's not texting me back. I wonder how he's doing, because I know what the other 9 guys are doing. They're always trying to get me out, but this one guy, he seems a little bit busy. I don't know what's going on. And so, like I said, she needs to wonder about you. And so this is why when you do things like that, you stop the noise. You stop the noise, and hear me out. So music, right? Let's talk about music. The beauty of music. What makes music beautiful? It is the space in between the notes. It's the space in between the notes that makes music beautiful. If there isn't any type of space, you just get a bunch of noise, right? So as a man, we need to learn how to allow time and space for her to wonder about you, to think about you. So what does it mean? You got to be a little bit patient, and you have to understand that you have to allow her time and space to come to you. So think about it like this. If you want to create beautiful music and chemistry, you have to learn how to start creating the music, and it's a skill. Okay. Now, number 3, women with high interest makes dating effortless. So when a woman, like I said, she's genuinely interested in you, right? You won't really have to question whether or not she likes you or not. She will text you first. She will suggest plans, and she will make time. Now, this is a woman with high interest, okay? Even when she is busy, she is going to want to get to know you. Because why? Attraction cuts through everything. Attraction cuts through everything. She will drop her religion for you, okay? If she has to. But attraction, depending on the level of attraction cuts through everything. Now, those are the women that's worth your type of energy, right? So you're looking for someone who's willing to celebrate with you, not to be there and tolerate you. Like, oh, here he comes again. I guess I will have a free meal. Well, it's like, no, you want someone that's enthusiastic, that's wondering about you, thinking about you, wondering when's the next time that she can see you. So when men focus on their own feelings, this is what happened, right? They end up chasing her too much. and they chase women who are kind of on the fence. Like, I don't really know. Like I said, you want someone that's willing to celebrate with you, not tolerate you. So now, woman that leaves you hanging, who responds kind of inconsistently, waits over 24 hours, and give you maybe dates. Like, oh, maybe we could do that next week or whatever, right? And never really commits to you. And as men, like I said, because our ego gets too involved with this, we try harder and harder. Like I said, it's called the illusion of action, thinking that our effort equals more interest from her. And it doesn't work that way. That's not how attraction and building attraction works. Now, when you're a guy and you learn to identify, that high interest in the girl you're talking to and the woman you're talking to, dating stops becoming this type of struggle. You stop chasing and you stop second guessing. And these are the type of women that's willing to jump fences to see you, not sit on the fence, wondering whether or not you're worth seeing, right? So high interest create flow in a relationship, not friction. So it's not, like I said, it's not about playing games. It's about gauging her level of interest and having fun with it. Having fun, okay? It's about recognizing whether or not there's mutual desire between you two, because it's easy for us guys to look at a girl and be like, damn, I want her. Why? Because she's gorgeous. It's easy for us because us guys, we fall in love with our eyes a lot easier. Women, they tend to fall in love a little bit slower. Usually it takes about 6 to 8 weeks, give or take 1.5 to 2 months. If you're doing everything correctly, it takes about 2 months for her to fall in love with you. So you have to think about this. As a guy, if I'm trying to date and court this woman, and I'm dating her, I'm courting her, we're having a great time, we have to learn to not rush that process. And if you're doing this in the beginning and you're not very good at it, that's fine. Everybody starts at a place somewhere. And you're like, well, Mitchell said that between 6 to 8 weeks, she would fall in love with me. Well, somewhere along the line, usually, if you're not doing everything correctly, it might take another month or 4 months. So give it some time and then start reflecting on the things that you do and you say and how you convey it, because how you convey things and how you say things to her, that's what's going to cause her to believe whether or not you have your masculine core centered or you're an off-center guy that easily get rattled. And you do not want to be that guy that gets rattled easily, okay? Last one, okay? My last slide for you guys is when you project interest, you kill the mystery. Wait, no, sorry. I'm so sorry. Focus on alignment, not validation. My bad, that was my fault. You want to focus on alignment, not validation. So many men, a lot of guys, they focus too much on this approach. What's that one word? What's that one phrase that I could say to her to make her feel a certain way from me? And they don't even believe in themselves. So when it comes out, it's like, wow, I don't even believe it. So what makes you think that she's gonna believe it? So they coming from a place of lack of inadequacy, and that's one of our basic human fears anyways. We always fear that we're not good enough and that we fear that we're not going to be loved. And if you constantly have those fears, it means that you're not doing enough. You don't have enough actions. So you also need a certain discipline. You need discipline to put yourself out there, to get rejected, to learn, and to be humiliated sometimes too. And that's okay. That's okay, because the more you do it, the better you get. And so, like I said, most guys, they come from a place of lack of inadequacy, and they chase women to try to prove something. They chase women to try to prove something of how he feels about himself. Well, if I get her, I am desirable, I am worthy, and I am enough. So it's coming from a place of weakness already, right? And so that type of mindset leads guys to over pursue women that barely reciprocates. Like I said, you're looking for someone with high interest or that wants to get to know you, not just, like I said, stay in the fence. You want someone to celebrate, not tolerate you. So, but the problem now isn't the woman in this case. It's actually the man that's trying to seek for validation constantly instead of seeking his own alignment. Woman could sense that a mile away. It's like blood, blood in shark's water, right? They can smell it a mile away. They know exactly what's going on. And here's the thing too. You might be able to trick a few women here and there to liking you, but eventually they're going to see right through your cracks, and you're going to end up being single and feel like you have to restart all over again. So why not do it right the first time, right? And so it won't take very long for her to catch up to what your whole facade, what your front is. So now, when you're a guy and you step into your masculine energy, you start filtering out compatibility, and the need for approval that you have starts to go away. You start to filter out, like, is she good for me? If I get with her, is that someone that's going to be a good teammate in my life? Is that someone who's going to be easygoing, easy to get along with? Is she going to make my life hard, or is she going to make my dick hard? That's the question. Is she going to make my life hard, or is she just going to make my dick hard? That's a very good question to ask, okay? It is very important. So now, when you start living from a place of your own alignment, what naturally aligns with you, like your core values, like what are your core values? If you know your core values, like, is this woman monogamous? Does she is lying and cheating? Like, does she have, what's your character like? Does she have integrity? Does she mean what she says? Is she chaotic all the damn time? Like, these are certain questions that you want to start asking yourself to know what you are willing to not tolerate. Because if you have an alignment and it goes against your core values and you still want to be with her, eventually you're going to come to an end and it's going to crash. And you're not going to like that very much. Because, you know, I gave that example before where women, say for example, she wants kids, but you're like, I don't really care too much about kids. Like, I don't want kids. And if your goals are different, your values are different, it's going to be really difficult. It's going to cause a lot more friction in your relationship. Am I saying it's not going to work? No, I'm not saying that. But would it make your relationship a lot more difficult? Absolutely. And I believe in having an easy, effortless relationship. Like I said, someone that's easygoing and easy to get along with, not someone that's always constantly giving you a lot of chaos. You want to come back home to a place of peace. Here's some. Anyways, you want to come back home to a place of peace, not chaos. And so when you start living in through your own alignment, you naturally attract more women who respects you more, who respects your energy, that mirrors your type of effort, and bring more peace into your life instead of a lot of confusion and chaos. And so validation keeps you chasing women. Alignment keeps you choosing. So you get to pick and choose on whether or not. Now, I get it. If you're just starting off, you don't have a lot of selection. You meet this one girl and you're kind of like, damn, all eggs in one basket. I can't fuck it up. Well, you got to start somewhere. But if you just go out there, maybe dating apps is not meant for you because you're short. Like I said, dating apps would definitely not work for me. I'm 5'5". So if I was single, I wouldn't be going for dating apps. It just wouldn't work out for me. Now, is it to say that it won't work? No. But like I said, a lot of women, they already have their filter. I even asked my girl, I was like, so what was your dating app filter when you were single? What was the height filter? She was like, I had it at 5'7", 5'8". And I was like, yeah, I would have never had a chance. Never had a chance. And, you know, you could be bitter about it and be like, well, I didn't want to give you a chance anyways. But it's like, no, it's not about being bitter about it. It's about being better and how you could work to your advantage. So dating apps will work, but don't rely on it too much. And I feel like in today's world, everybody like you're trying to get on a date while taking a shit on the toilet. It's like, how easy and effortless is that? But instead of going out there and putting yourself out there and communicating that you have interest in that woman, that you want to get to know her a little bit more, and go approach women, just a group of women, okay? Just go and approach and mess up. It's okay. Now, you still want to have a certain game plan, and you still want to have certain things. And how I like to ask is, if I see a beautiful woman, right? If I'm single and I see a beautiful woman, what most guys would do is, and I see it a lot on TikTok. They go and they ask the woman, like, damn, you're beautiful, like, I want to get your number and all this. Yeah, sometimes it works, because why? It's confidence. It shows a lot of confidence. But then if you want to see whether or not she is really worth it and she's in a group, what you can ask is, like, wow, like, be upfront about it. I think you're absolutely gorgeous and I would like to get to know you. But I have a question for you, for your friends or your family or whatever. Like, is she someone worth taking or worth introducing to my family? Is she nice? And then, of course, all her friends and family is gonna be like, yeah, she's like this and she's like that. Or they'd be like, no, straight up, she's a hoe. Whatever it is. Like, they're gonna poke fun out of it and whatever it may be. But then that question allows them to try to validate for her, because you're already going in with the assumption that you are going to be liked, that you are a man of value, because not a lot of guys, like I said, out there, they're not going to really approach a lot of women. And so if you are interested, is she someone that I could take home to my mom one day? Is she? Or do I need to hide her? And, like I said, keep it playful and fun. It doesn't have to be serious. However you make her feel is how she will associate her feelings of being with you. So if you make her feel miserable, she's not going to really want to be with you. If you make her feel like she has to run the relationship and she has to lead, she's not going to be attracted to you, because you're not really producing a lot of masculine energy. And so just by understanding that, you remove all this game and you can still enjoy life and have a good time and flirt and do all that. But it's coming from a place of you knowing your own worth and seeing whether or not she is a worthy potential mate, if you will, right? So what it really all kind of boils down to, remember, validation keeps you chasing and alignment keeps you choosing. But having a relationship or being in a relationship, what it all kind of boils down to is that the relationship or whoever you're going to be with is supposed to complement your life. It's not supposed to be the person that fixes your life. Now, can they inspire you? Absolutely. But they're not there. That's not their job to fix you, nor are you there to fix them. You're supposed to share each other's completeness, not to complete each other. Hear me? So you can't give what you don't have. So if you're a guy and you're watching this and you're not improving yourself, whether it's mentally, physically, and educating yourself and understanding, like, what does it mean to be a more masculine guy? What does masculine energy means? Like, I will start from there and start understanding what it takes to be a guy that has integrity, that has good character, that has morals and values, because that's ultimately what's going to sustain a relationship. And then be a guy that's more fun, easygoing, that doesn't take life too damn serious and could poke fun. Like, yeah, is this someone that I could take, to see my parents? Like, or is this someone that's worth seeing my parents, or do I have to hide her because I don't mind having a good time? I'm just saying. So you guys have to think about that, understand where it comes from. And if you're a woman, you're watching this, you're like, well, how do you spot a good man? And it's, like I said, it's usually a lot easier for a woman, but having For a woman, finding a great guy is very, very difficult. A guy that's good character, he's grounded, he understands women, he allows her to talk. That's rare. So when she stumbles across a guy like you that understands women, that listens, that allows her to speak, she does 70 to 80% of the pursuing in after, and then you allow her to come to you. And then also you're a guy that you have a purpose, you have a mission, you know exactly why you put on this earth. And if you don't, you figure it out why you put on this earth, and you go for the things that you love doing that keeps you excited, and you're there to support each other. Why would she want to lose a guy like you? Just think about that. It does not happen very often. And if you just look at the statistics of how many people don't take care of themselves physically, which is like what women sees right in the beginning, you don't take care of yourself physically, it's like it eliminates a lot of the competition. There would be no competition. And I forgot who said this. Was it Jim Rohn? Excuse me. He says, success is never crowded along the extra mile. What does it mean? It means that most people are not willing to put in the effort. And if you're here and you're watching this and you want to put in the extra effort for yourself, you will become way, way more successful than other guys. And women will just naturally come to you. And why? Because you have a type of energy that pulls her towards you instead of you always trying to push to try to get to know her. So if you guys did find this video content of value, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it to some of your friends. And if you want to know more about relationships, I'm here every Saturday. I do lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So come back next week and I'll talk about another topic. So until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace.